I'll start. I want to welcome you to this event organized as part of CommuniLab's activities. My name is Danai Pantelidi and I'm working at ENOLL, which is the European Network of Living Labs. And it is great to have you here. And I really appreciate the pilot team representatives also accepting our invitation to join and present their pilots. So today we will have a 1-hour session, probably even less, where previous pilot teams will present the key learnings from participating in CommuniCity. And going through the agenda, I will briefly present the project and the open call, which is currently running, and CommuniLab, which is the mutual learning space that we're trying to create currently. And then we have the representatives from 3 pilot projects, Joel, Dennis, and Gayan, and Bella as well, who will each present their projects and key learnings from piloting in the previous rounds of CommuniCity. And at the end, or after we finish each presentation, we can go ahead and answer some questions, if any, or possible, or share more tips or possible questions that you wish you had answered when you had firstly started piloting. So as you can see, this meeting is recorded, and this is because we are a limited number of people, of attendees, and this is information that others would possibly find interesting. So we're recording this to add it on the mutual learning spaces and the knowledge repositories of the project CommuniCity and possibly Living in EU, which is another project that the city representatives are joining in order to receive support for their digital transition. And in case you do not want to appear in the recording, you can always keep your cameras off and ask your questions, if any, in the chat. Now I will go through a quick presentation of the project and then the open call and CommuniLab. So CommuniCity is a 3-year-long Horizon Europe project, which is run by a consortium of 12 partners, including the cities of Amsterdam, Helsinki, and Porto. As I said, we have with us Celia from Helsinki and Adib from Porto. And these are the 3 cities that are the host cities of the pilots, the original cities that participated in CommuniCity. The main objective of the project is to create 100 technology-based solutions that respond to the challenges set by the participating cities. And these solutions are being developed and tested in pilot projects that last 6 months each. And then the final, an important part of CommuniCity is that the final beneficiaries of all the solutions are marginalized and vulnerable groups, which are also involved in the co-creation processes throughout the pilot. So the pilots are a co-creative process that involves the final beneficiaries from the start. And to achieve successful solutions, the project's partners provide guidance and technical tools prior and throughout the launch of the pilots. We are currently on the 3rd open call, which launched in September. 2 open calls and piloting periods have already finished, and a total of 38 pilots have been finalized. And currently, in the 3rd and the last round, we are aiming for 62 pilots, which will be implemented and receive a grant of 12,500 euros each to follow up on their actions. And you can participate in the open call if you're a legal entity that is based in the European Union or in a Horizon Europe eligible country. And as you can see, the deadline is this Thursday, so you will have some time to apply if interested. Then we follow with the evaluation of the proposals in November. Then the pilots will launch in December and last for a period of 6 months until May. And if you're interested, just a moment, because I'm also accepting people. So if you're interested, just make sure to check the challenges through the website. And in case you don't find your city, you can still apply and provide a solution in another city or in another country. Now, moving on to CommuniLab. ENOLL launched the CommuniLab space last August, which you can access through the website of the project. It's a space at the top header, so you can easily find it. CommuniLab is aimed at everyone who could potentially benefit from the project's learnings, whether they are pilot teams, city representatives, private companies, or everybody else, communities. It is a space for mutual learning that consists of three main content categories, which we can see here. It's the capacity building space, the knowledge sharing space, and the space for engagement and collaboration. Now we can go through each of these spaces in a bit more detail. The capacity building space is hosting a help desk, which responds to frequently asked questions related to piloting, co-creating, and the topics that matter on the project in general. Then we're hosting webinars from past online events. And as I said, the recording of this meeting is also going to be available in the webinars page. Then we have the multimedia, which includes videos, articles, and other material that is generated from the project. And lastly, a tips and tricks page on matters of co-creation approaches, AI ethical points of consideration, and many more. These are continuously updated. On the knowledge sharing space, you can find information about the process that is followed in CommuniCity, from reaching out to cities and formulating the challenges to the launch and completion of the pilot projects. We are also creating a catalog of all the solutions generated from the project thus far, which will be updated with those from the third round once they are completed. And in case you're part of CommuniCity for the third round, you will also have the opportunity to include your project there and use it for further promotion. Then we have the manuals, which are step-by-step guides on how to run open calls and how to pilot. We also have toolkits on how to co-create and how to utilize the technological framework that is in place. And then we lastly have the deliverables of the project that are public. You can find them there in CommuniLab. The last space is the engagement and collaboration space. As part of CommuniLab, we organize activities for building capacity, such as the one that you're attending right now. And we also have a LinkedIn group, which you can join if you scan this QR code. And we aim to, for the time being, we post there events that relate to the activities of CommuniLab, but we want this to be a space where pilot teams will share their work, maybe some challenges, and also seek advice from their fellows and other users of the group. And last but not least, we have created a suggestion box for feedback from the community, since we try to respond to your needs as much as possible and better understand what would be added in CommuniLab to make it more valuable for its users. And once you check the page, you will realize that it's not featuring yet all the material that I mentioned, because some of this content is being currently created or finalized to be uploaded. And of course, this is a process that will continue until the end of the project. So keep an eye on the website because it will soon be populated with more information. And with this, I wrap up the intro to CommuniCity. Now we can move on to the main part, which is the presentation from the pilot team representatives. And we will start with Joel. I have incorporated your slides here, so if you have access, if you want to change the slides yourself, you can ask for access. Otherwise, I can do it for you.
It says that it's disabled. The requesting control is disabled, so you can switch the slides. But I'll give you the cue. No worries.
Okay.
Okay, so my turn. My name is Joel Hentunen. I'm an accessibility expert from Riasa Consultative. We are a Finnish accessibility expert company. There's at the moment 6 of us in this company. And we joined with Crowdsource, a Finnish crowdsourcing mobile game startup, to do a accessibility information crowdsourcing pilot for the city development use for the city of Helsinki and for the city of Talle. Yeah, we can move on to the presentation. Riasa has been around for 5.5 years. We founded ourselves 2019, and ever since we've been doing accessibility consultancy in variety of services around in Finland, and we are now looking forward to spread our services outside Finnish borders also. And this was a great opportunity for us to start working together with the city of Tallinn. We also joined with Crowdsource, who is also a Finnish company based in Tampere, but they have the Born Global mobile game app Crowdsource to collect data that the city wants from outside using crowdsourcing methods. It is well known in Finland for collecting information regarding species like flowers or different plants that are invasive. So they collect the information from invasive species, and then the cities can more effectively destroy the invasive species around town. What kind of pilot did we do? The main purpose of the pilot was to test how accessibility data from the street environments can be collected through crowdsourcing and used for communication. The main underlying issue is that it is it hasn't been digitalized, the collecting of accessibility information in the city environment. Usually in Finland, there is some sort of accessibility walk with the citizen forum. So there is a group of people who have disabilities, and then the city employees work together with that group, and then they have a little tour around the city center somewhat. But that is not very effective way of collecting data. So we thought with Crowdsource that we can do way better. So we decided to apply for the CommuniCity pilot and collect the information for the city to use to improve their accessibility information, and also to ticket the lacks of accessibility in their city environment. So we had participations from both cities we had gathered a group of people with disabilities from both cities to use a mobile game to gather data from crosswalks, pathways, and audio beacons. And then we focused on street accessibility in a predetermined area in Helsinki and Talle. When we applied for the pilot, we initially intended the information to go for the city of Helsinki and the city of Tallinn. They have service maps where they include information for their citizens, and that we thought that the data could be later used for improving and understanding the current state of urban accessibility. Next slide. So there is still much work to be done regarding accessibility, and the data is not collected systematically. I introduced that already. Also, the communication about accessibility is often weak, and advanced information about accessibility is crucial for individuals who need it. So there is lack of current information, and the information is usually old and outdated. So we wanted to think that with this method, we could find a cost-effective way of collecting information that is up to date about the accessibility of street environments and geotagged images that could be very useful for this purpose. So we already knew that data could be collected very quickly using the mobile game developed by crowdsource. So we had the courage to try it out. And then let's see what happened. The challenges that we faced regarding data collection was that it was conducted with closed groups. So especially in Tallinn, we learned that the strength of crowdsourcing lies in open tasks. The groups were about 10 people each. So that affected that it took a little longer than expected to collect the data and the pictures. Also, the quality of the images varied for the Tallinn portion because the mobile game tasks were in English, and in the future, all tasks will be in the target country's language. Also, the start of the pilot had to be postponed due to the weather conditions, so we learned that all this latitude data collection on the accessibility of street environments should be scheduled for late spring, summer, or early fall. So the pilot date structure was a challenge for us also. What successes did we have? The participants in the task received compensation for taking pictures. Often when working with such target groups, participation is free of charge. They give their info for free. However, it was still difficult to find people to participate at the beginning, likely because people with disabilities are often heard, but change is slow. So it either doesn't happen or isn't visible. This requires attention when planning such activities. You would need like a longer period of collecting the people who would be in a closed group. The communication during the pilot worked excellently as we had a good and open connection with the teams from both cities. Also, the accessibility data collected through crowdsourcing is of high quality, and this method is suitable for this purpose. It is also broadly acceptable for collecting various types of information. And we are happy to announce that today started a accessibility information collection in Tallinn, in the city of Tallinn, with crowdsource about the bus stops in Tallinn. So this pilot was able to continue into another project in the city of Tallinn already this year. Next slide. All right. So in a way, a good continuum in the city of Tallinn, and then we're also in discussions with the city of Helsinki that if in the future we could do something with the crowdsource and Riesa co-op. But yeah, shortly, I have to go to the next meeting, but before that, we probably should have a moment for questions if there are any from the crowd. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Joel.
Kathleen.
Go ahead.
Hello. So really interesting because I'm actually coming with a very similar approach for the next call. I work with decentralized physical infrastructure networks. I don't know if you heard of them. It's like really all about crowdsourced data and building in a reward system. So the application will have an AI model below where every data is confirmed, automatically rewarded. So my question is here in general, because I really love that you come more from the expert content side, become more from the technology side. So I would love maybe to understand if in the next call, like we applying for with this project for the call in Porto, it's about mobility mapping and accessibility mapping and also providing the user application. Maybe there's an opportunity just to basically build on your results and kind of extend it to really have afterwards something which is right away implementable. So that's just in general, like what's right off the bat, because, or the other question is, can we apply with a call for the wider crowd with something as a similar approach? It's just a very, very different technical solution that probably we have.
Is it like basically a crowdsourcing method? Are you opening up for the public, or do you have like a focused group?
No, it will be very fast. A public, of course, we go in with 50 to 60 in the beginning to have a closed environment, but we have already with similar, we did mapathons in India, like where they basically mapped the whole city out with university students. This is like it's supposed to be in the beginning closed, but will be an open test. because the data will be verified automatically with an AI kind of visual model. So you really can very fast test the verification of this data coming in, but we would probably need help of the kind of criteria, what has to be mapped, what is the regulatory part of it, kind of to train the data model. And the other part will be a reward system where it's automatically the points can be matched with a stable European like euro, but this is the second part. So, but in this case, I think it just like takes maybe what you already tested, just goes technically maybe one step further. That's why I thought like maybe that's a very good continuous of your project and maybe in a potential collaboration.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would like, if I may, please be in contact with me because I would really like to hear more about it. And I have like some thoughts already from an accessibility expert point of view that what could be some pitfalls. For example, to name few, how you will train the AI model to like focus on the right things that affect, if I understood right, their accessibility, like mobile accessibility things. So what are the things that mobile accessibility is affected by? And secondly, where will you, like, what is the destination of the data? Who will use it? And where will it be added to? Because the issue that we had with the city of Tallinn and the city of Helsinki is that they also are not, it's not only about the how fresh the data is and how accurate the data is, it's also where the data is. So is the data in a place where the users are? Because we are seeing that all the users are using like, they want the information to be in the same places where everybody else finds the information, like Google Maps or like the website of businesses and the services that they use. So this idea of like, oh, we have this app for like a Google Maps, but for people with disabilities, that is such a like outdated idea about that people with disabilities want like a separate app for them. Like they want the data to be where everybody else is and them to be similar customers that are equal with everybody else, not to underline the differences between people with disabilities. So where the data is as important as how fresh the data is and how accurate the data is.
That's perfect. Let's definitely follow up, because I think in the call it was definitely more like we need like some kind of user app, or like the people like have this information. But I think as well as you, it's more about how the data is prepared also to go into basically existing maps that people are using, or using this map also for other reasons, or like for other means to go to this map because it has additional information, and Google Maps is kind of not feasible for a lot of hyper local information. So maybe it can be even advanced through with local very valuable information. But this is something we definitely should like have in a follow up. I would love to exchange and maybe just to build on top of your results and maybe have like
Absolutely.
a collaborative approach on this. Okay, thanks a lot.
But yeah, I bet Dana can share my information, or you might have actually been in the loop already. So let's connect with that. But if anybody else has any questions regarding the pilot, or needs any, like have any questions afterwards, if you're watching the recording, please be in contact and through Dana, and let's resolve the issues if you have any. Thank you.
Thank you very much, girl. Bye-bye. So now we can move on to the next pilot project, and Dennis, who will present phonetic.
Yeah, I'm not sure I can actually take over.
Yes, apparently it's not working, but
you're going to have to click for me. So we're going to be talking about phonetic. We basically did a pilot sprint in the spring of this year, and we I'll just run through what phonetic is and how we made it and what we're going to be doing afterwards. So next slide. So what we thought it was going to be was that we thought we were going to be making an app that would run on mobile devices, and that basically used a local AI to translate spoken messages into text. So you can imagine that if you're deaf or hard of hearing or wearing headphones or don't speak the language, and the language here is Dutch because it's Amsterdam, then you probably don't understand what is being said in the tram, in the service announcements. So what we thought was, okay, we'll make basically a device that will use AI to translate for you. And there's a need because of the timing. Basically, you can use Google Translate, but that would mean that you would have to sit there with your phone waiting for the public services announcements. And of course, public service announcements come unexpected when your tram is cancelled or when it has a crash or whatever it is. So things changed a bit because we didn't run it on the phone. But what we did, you can go to the next slide. But what we did is we made a device on a very small PC called a Raspberry Pi, and we had a microphone that we basically, you can see on the left picture, we hung it up neatly, and it was very much rough and improvised. But we basically clamped it to the lights where the speakers were, and it sent things to our little Raspberry Pi. That then used the user's mobile connection to send it to a cloud-hosted AI. That then did the translation into whatever it was that you needed, and that then sent it to an API. And we ran a web server in front of that, but you could actually run that into a chat app or something like that. We didn't really want to develop another WhatsApp or for WhatsApp for trams or something like that. So that's where we kind of stopped. So in the right-hand bottom corner, you can see kind of an output, the way it comes out. Very basically, it's like a chat interface. And here it's just saying the names of the stations because that's what it's hearing. And then the bottom one is actually a bilingual announcement. Please don't forget to check out. Also, if you have a bank card. So there's a kind of, it's basic. It looks pretty simple, but this is actually quite difficult to do because it's hearing Dutch and it's then outputting Dutch, then suddenly hearing English, and then outputting English. And it's also hearing lots and lots of background noise because a tram is a very noisy place. Next slide. So we decided that we would be testing just with deaf people and hard of hearing people. So we did a test with those users, and we also had a kind of demo session where people from the local polytechnic came by, and also the municipality and the tram company. They all wanted to see how it worked. Anyway, we thought that we were going to be developing just for deaf and hard of hearing people and then co-creating together with them. But it turned out that while we were testing, we noticed that this actually goes for almost everyone. So the developers also didn't understand what was being said in the public service announcements, and neither did the tourists. And really, it's kind of the only one that was understanding it was phonetic, which was because it was basically stuck to the speaker and was able to kind of deduce which bits were interesting to people and which weren't. So that's given us actually quite an interesting outcome, because this would be a useful development for trams. So we're working with the local tram company to actually implement this in all of the trams and buses and trains. So that's a kind of a success story. But the amusing thing is we've actually also thought of several other situations in which you would need AI to do certain translation that would actually enhance accessibility for everyone and not just deaf and hard of hearing people. Can you go to the next slide? because our original objective was basically, okay, we want deaf and hard of hearing people to actually, be able to read public service announcements, and it to be a really, really easy thing to do. So we don't want the tram personnel to actually have to do anything for it, even push buttons or anything like that. It just gets translated and you don't have to think about it. And then we did consider, okay, there could be some crossover that is, that could be there, but that turned out to be the major thing. And of course, our technologies were on a completely different stack from what we thought in the beginning. And I think that's just a learning for at the moment that AI development, especially on large language models, is really going so fast that, you have to be able to change direction almost instantly. So, the way we did it was we had a discovery of a couple of weeks in advance of our design sprint. We used a design kit, which is a set of workshops that you can kind of piece together yourself, depending on what you're looking for. So a lot of our research was basically desk research and speaking to different target groups. Then during the sprint, we actually just really did Scrum, which is a way of, we use it a lot in software development, but basically you take a very short time box, a week in this case, and you only have a goal for that week. You don't actually plan it out in a project plan or anything like that. And then every day you check whether you're actually going in the right direction, and you can change course as you go along. And then for sustaining the product, we've basically made it an open source product, and we're what's that called? A social enterprise. So it's a cooperative, and with members being both on the sponsorship side, so companies can become a sponsor, but the testers can get benefits and get free phonetics if they put lots of time into it. And of course, the development hours are also covered by sponsorship. So it's a way of getting the three groups to actually work together in one organization. Can you go to the next slide? So here are some pictures of how that went. This is the it's lots of the days kind of mixed up, but top left is our demo session in the tram, and top right as well. And bottom left, we basically set up office as close to the trams as possible. So we were actually inside the tram depot where they do the maintenance, which was really good because we could basically do some changes, then step straight into the tram. We had a place where testers could just come and, if it wasn't nice weather, be dry and have a cup of coffee. We basically used the local facilities, the local training facilities for doing interviews, and the rest was just sitting in trams and doing lots of writing and recording and figuring things out from there. So that's how the design sprint went. Next slide, please. Yeah, this is during the demo, so you can see the little phonetic box sitting in the back that contains this miniature PC, and everyone else is using their phone to read what's being said. Next slide. Yeah. So what we're going to do, or what we're doing right now, is we've set up this co-op, or we're in the process of setting up this co-op, and that means that we can take aboard sponsorship, and we can take aboard people's time, and then output that into different directions. So we've continued developing the phonetic OV, which means openbaar vervoer. That's a public transport. But we've also now, we're developing for the train company a hyperlocal network. So that would work similarly to the phonetic that you hang up in a tram, but you can hang it up in a station or in a public space somewhere. and that gives people the option to communicate with others in a very small network. So both in users, we want to kind of limit it to what you can talk to. So it's not a big crowd of people, but it's, let's say, a group chat of up to 10 people. And you can actually only communicate with that network if you're within 100 meters of the receiver. So it basically means that people can, if you're blind and you wander onto the station, Stationsplein, the square in front of the central station, and you want to know where can I go, you can basically talk to your phone. Your phone then uploads that to an AI and then translates it into text. And the readers that are within 100 meters of you can then read what you're saying, also in the language that they have set their phone in. So they basically, if they're Ukrainian, they can then read it back in Ukrainian. And we're going to do a design sprint with that using quite a few different stakeholders. So a blind person, a deaf person, someone who has literacy problems, someone who doesn't speak Dutch, and then see how they start interacting using this piece of technology. And the last one is phonetic chat, which is a very simple translator for a one-on-one conversation, similar to Google Translate or the translation function that Copilot gives you. However, it doesn't remember anything, and it only connects locally, so it doesn't have the same privacy problems that those solutions have. So that's the really basic version of phonetic, let's say. And yeah, that's it. More information on the phonetic.blog. So yeah.
Very nice, Dennis. Thank you for sharing.
No problem.
Any questions for Dennis? Yes, Celia.
Hi, yes, thank you for the presentation and being part of the CommuniCity. Just maybe you already said that, but what languages you can use in your service? Is it only Dutch or other languages as well?
No, it's way more than just Dutch. So it's most languages that currently have large libraries that have been fed. So the version that we were using was OpenAI's Whisper, which I think contains quite a few. And let's think, there are a few languages that it doesn't speak yet, but we wanted to test some edge cases. So things it does do very weirdly is sign language, for example. Dutch Sign Language only has about 30,000 users. And if it starts manipulating an avatar to do sign language, our sign language readers could kind of understand what it was trying to get across, but it was basically sort of machine gibberish. You've probably tried listening to a book or something like that. It's a similar, very mechanical and really hard to concentrate on output. But yeah, in major European languages, are all in there.
Thank you.
Maybe I can have a quick question. I was wondering how willing were people to follow you around in a tram, and I mean, most of the times people are collected in one place and then they spend 1 hour contributing their time for that long, but you requested for people to move around in a tram, and how willing were they to participate and help you out?
Yeah, so the thing is, by making them kind of co-conspirators, they're actually totally willing to, you just basically join the team. They were very willing. We set out so one of our collaborators is a lady who's hard of hearing, and so is one of the developers. So basically, they ask people who would like to spend half a day traveling around Amsterdam, and you'll get free lunch, but you'll also get all of the updates that we make to this product, and you'll be the first to know, and you'll be a member of our co-op. So, join now. And that was really it. We covered their costs by making it free for them to travel up and down, but it wasn't. We didn't have to pay anyone or anything like that. But they really are members, so it's like it's not fake. It's true. They are fully participants, just like a developer is.
Thank you very much, Denise. We can move on to the last presentation, EduConnect.
Okay.
You can go ahead.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy today to be here and tell about our pilot project. As you can see from here, we are far away from Porto. We are from Armenia. It's the second largest city, Gyumri. And let me tell you about our organization. It's Enterprise Incubator Foundation. Let's go back. Enterprise Incubator Foundation. It's the largest innovation agency in our region, and it has more than 20 projects across whole Armenia. And one of its projects is Gyumri Technology Center, where we work with Bella. She is the manager of Gyumri Technology Center, and I am coordinating some projects here. And also, we are at Gyumri Technology Center doing really different things. We do various educational courses. We have annually more than 1,000 graduates. We are trying to promote the idea of multidisciplinarity, trying to merge artists, scientists, engineers, and craftsmen together to work on joint projects. So if you will be interested, you can check our social media pages. And also let me introduce you IBAN Technologies. It's the company with whom we have collaborated on this pilot project. They are one of our resident companies, and they are a mobile application development company. Let's go to the next slide. So initially, the challenge we applied is how to reduce school absenteeism through an inclusive educational solution. And at first, we proposed to develop EduConnect learning application. We plan to make an application, a suite of personalized learning applications for different subjects, where the students would be able to learn on their own space with personalized learning paths, interactive modules, gamification elements, and so on. So it's quite a big picture of what we wanted to do. Next, let's go and see what we have actually done in the terms of our pilot projects during these 6 months. Next slide, please. So, Escola ao Toque, it basically means the school by touch. From Portugal. It's a learning application. It is AI-powered, and at first we thought to make the application for the students, to make the learning process for them interactive and fun and so on. But during our discussions and during the process, we understood that also teachers should have access to this application. So we decided to make this application for 2 types of users, the teachers and the students. Students benefit from this application because learning English became very fun, interesting, interactive. It's not boring. They are doing various exercises. The UI UX design is specially tailored to them, so they will not be bored or tired easily. And they can also track their own progress and see it in the application. For the teachers, they can benefit from this application because they can create and submit interactive learning materials tailored to the needs of students. When the student is doing different exercises, the teacher sees which exercise works best for the students, which topics are more interesting for them, for him or her. So the teacher can adapt the materials for the student. Also, the teacher can track whole grades progress, so it's quite beneficial for both of them, teachers and students. Let's go next. I will tell more about features we integrated. If you are interested in our pilot project, it's a mobile application. It's published and available for both Android and iOS devices, so you can scan the QR code and download it to test it. Would be happy for your feedback. So what we have in the application? First, I talked about gamification elements. We decided for our pilot project, we'll make real-time leaderboard. So when the student submits some tasks, he got points, and according to the points, he sees his position in the class. So this makes some motivation to do more tasks, to do tasks better, and so on. We also used AI technologies and integrated text-to-speech and speech-to-text technologies. So these are for the writing and speaking modules. When the student writes something on the paper, he can just scan it, and the AI will turn it to the speech. And the teacher can later rate this task according to it. And also there is speech to text. So in the speaking part, the student gets some tasks, he speaks about it, and then he sees the text, but AI understood. Later, the teacher gets these tasks done, and AI also helps the teacher because it identifies the mistakes that he sees. It sees and helps teacher to do the checking. After that, the teacher checks AI itself and gives the final grade for the student. Also, we decided that since we want to integrate some gamification elements, the students will have 2 attempts to do their tasks, the same tasks. It will like 2 lives from the game. They are doing the task first time, they are receiving their grade, they are doing the task the second time, they are also receiving their grade, and their final grade is the average. So they are learning the material because they repeat it constantly, but they also are not tired or bored of it. Next are the teacher insights, which is one of the most important parts because teacher can really see what interests the student most and according to it tailor all the lessons, materials, modules, and so on. And also engaging content. We made the feature special for the teachers so they can add the content they want according to the students' needs. Let's go next. So let's speak now about the whole process. As you saw from the first slide, we are far away from Porto, and unfortunately we couldn't make it to go there, but Porto Digital representatives, the representatives of school helps us a lot to implement our pilot project. We started with bi-weekly meetings, and during these meetings we discussed every stage of our pilot project, every ideas that we had, and elaborated them constantly. At first, we, as you've seen, narrowed the scope of the pilot project. Next, we were discussing together the content of the application, the features of the application. Thanks to the ideas from the teachers, we got the teacher user idea and so on. So these collaborative sessions helped us a lot to tailor our pilot solution to the local community needs. Next are user feedback sessions. We first organized a testing session with one of Porto schools with the 9th grade teachers and students. It was quite challenging again. Because it was the first testing, we had lots of bugs and we were connected online, but it was the first testing, and one of the most important insights that we got from here, all the students and teachers who participated, they all said that they really want to use that application. Although, you know, here I push this button and it doesn't work. Of course, we fixed it later. Next, we engaged our Gimli Technology Center graduates and volunteers in the testing session. So they also tested and helped us to find different bugs and technical issues. And then we organized local test IT competition. For the coders, programmers, mobile application developers, they helped us to finalize the application and prepare it to be published. Let's continue to the next slide. So what we have learned, of course, that collaboration is the key. With the help of Porto Digital teachers and students, we managed to implement this project and to publish this application that suits really the needs of local students. Adaptability, be ready to change the pilot project for as many times as it will be necessary. After every feedback loops, you can get some new insights, new ideas, and so on. So you will be open to adapt all these ideas into your project. And community engagement, the help of the students who tested the application that day was incredible, because they made some solutions and ideas but they are not very technically hard, but it's really easy to implement, and it's really nice to have in the application. So they helped us a lot in that part. Moving forward, we have plans, and we have a big picture what this application can be further developed by adding more gamification feature, extending device compatibility, because for now the application is available for mobile devices and planchets. And also we want to continue co-creation with local communities to understand what else can we add and what will be beneficial for them. Let's continue to the next slide. So based on key learnings, the things that we recommend for the future teams is to develop close relationships with the representatives and with the partners that you work with, because their help is very important to specify the pilot project, to narrow the scope of the project, to implement and generate different ideas that can be used in the pilot project, to be flexible and open to the changes. The final product has to evolve with every user feedback. And but co-creation is very important in the process. Our ideas with what we apply for are always great, but they are getting even greater when you continually work on them and co-create. So thank you very much. And if you will have any questions, you can also connect me, but I will be happy to answer them also now.
Thank you very much, Gayan. Any questions for Gayan and Bella? Maybe I can ask, when you said that you want to follow up with another co-creative process, you mean in Armenia or in Porto again?
We will want to further see what opportunities we have. So we'll be happy to further develop this application for Porto schools, and also scale it up to Armenia and all the countries that we would need.
So it's a scalable solution with various applications.
Yeah.
Very nice. Any other questions? I will share these slides with all the participants, as well as those that registered and did not manage to attend. So you can reach out to the people and get to know more. If in case you want to come in touch with us about CommuniLab, you can reach out to me and to Josephine. She's not here with us today, but she's the responsible partner for the third open call, and Celia and Adib are also here with us. They can also support you in this process. You can follow us on social media and the website, and this is all from our side. Do you want to say something, Celia and Adib, before we close the session?
Just saying that it was really, really nice to go a little bit deeper and share the stories from the previous rounds. I love piloting, so I'm happy.
Yeah, same for me. It was nice, especially to see Bella and Gayan again. And just to remind you that the open calls are still open for the third round. If you want to apply, please feel free. You have 3 more days.
And as you can see, the results are very positive. So go ahead and apply. There's still some time left. And this is all from us. I would be happy to connect further. And that's it. Have a great week ahead.
Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right.
Bye-bye.